Oh, hello and welcome to the Streets Interview. I'm your host, Diane, and thank you for joining us. In today's episode, I'm joined by a young creative graphic designer, a digital marketing specialist, and above that, she's the manager of the Makanuluka Hitmaker. Oh, hi, Diana.
Hi, Diane. This is so weird.
Yeah, it is. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. So do you.
It's actually surprising that you are a mother, right?
surprising.
Yeah, it is. You look young.
I've been a mother for as long as I can remember now. Since, middle, young adult. I don't know that age.
That's really impressive. Because I actually think you're my age. So tell us, where does Diana's story begin? Where does Diana begin? Where was Diana born?
Diana was born in National Central Hospital in Concession. That's
Really?
Yeah. That's where my parents used to live. My mom and my grandmother. She's right now my maternal grandmother. Where my mom was raised and my dad was from close by. You know how
Oh yeah.
So these guys are like
close.
The other village and then this village. My mom and my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. So where does Nutty all come in the picture?
Nutty all came to my picture back in 2018. I had relocated back to Zimbabwe from South Africa because I went soon after I finished college, did my 10 years working there. I had my children when I was there, and then at some point I just felt kind of stuck, done, tired. Because I had been working from the moment I got there to when, things didn't really make much sense. But mostly, I didn't know how to live in Zimbabwe as an adult because I went when I was much younger.
Okay.
So that challenge for me came, and I said, maybe let me try and do this so that if at any time I have to go back home, I know where to start.
So this wasn't the plan at start?
Not at all. So
what was the plan? What was your dream?
At some point, I don't think you really have a particular dream. You're just following the path as it comes. Because I was in South Africa, I started off as a lecturer at a technical college, lecturing in IT. Then I went to do technical recruitment, which is where I spent most of my years that I was in South Africa. When I got retrenched from that, I then went to work at an ad agency. So I was back now to the creative stuff that I learned at college.
So how did you get into the IT?
That was what I studied in college.
Oh.
Yeah. But so the thing when I was on attachment that fascinated me the most was website and graphic design. So I started self-learning all of that stuff by around 2010 and stuff. I knew my way around, and by 2012 I started branding myself mostly on Facebook. So
you're like a self-made art. Can we say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Self-made art. So is it Nutty or you've worked with many other artists?
So the first person I started working with in the music industry is Vanel. I was introduced to him when I was visiting Zimbabwe.
This is international, right?
Vanel is Zimbabwean.
Okay.
Going international, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was introduced to him in 2017. I was visiting in Zimbabwe. Then he said, could you please do this with us? It was him and his friend Kent Mutasa. So they're saying, we've got music that we do, but we don't really know our way around. But we believe you could help us, since I was already doing digital marketing and stuff. So that's how I got into it. And then I met Nutty later on in 2018. We were organizing a Sing Dancehall Summit. And he was speaking. He was a panelist on that event. So we met, and with the management, we started talking. And from there, I sort of became part of their family. And I was just doing my duty as a family member, so to speak, and using my skill set. Because when you are around artists and stuff, you tend to use whatever skill set that you have to up the grind and stuff. So that's what we were doing. And over the years, we started doing much more. The brand was also growing, and we were all involved, and people also started knowing the relationship between myself and the brand. So I was always there in the mix, being mentioned here and there. And at a point when the brand grew to a certain level, I then needed another manager, and I was right there working with him in the brand. So that's when he said, would you want for us to do this, to work? And I'm like, nah, I was scared. So I'm like, will I know exactly what to do? And a brand that big at that level, it was a bit scary.
Yeah.
Then he said, no, don't worry. We will all carry each other and work as a family, as we have always done, helping each other, channeling each other. Keep on doing what you're doing. I think he used words like queen, mother, you also need to do this for the girls. What, and he convinced me. So we started working together. Yeah.
So do you have any other artists that you're grooming right now?
So besides Vanel, there's also
any upcoming?
Yeah, there's also a guy called Ed Terry. He's actually Nigerian, based in Abuja. So
you are going international. You are going international.
I could say that.
Yeah.
So he had some projects that she was doing in Zimbabwe, and someone, a good friend, then said, this is the person that you need to speak with to help you achieve what you need to achieve. So when he visited Zimbabwe the second time, we connected, and then we got to talk and started working together. Yeah.
That's quite impressive.
Impressive.
So what would you give? What's the advice you would give to someone who wants to become an artist manager, just like you?
For an artist manager, what I did for myself when I started working with Vanel, when I was very clueless, I reached out to the big artist managers back then. I remember there was Kim Chapaize from Jaya Praisers Camp, Walter Wanyanya, Hilary Mtake, who was working with Freeman, I think then, now working with Jazz Signal. Okay. So I literally, Hilary, I knew him from before, but Keen and Walter, I literally sent them, it was a messenger on Facebook message, introduced myself, and then asked them to guide me and stuff. And fortunately, they actually responded. And then they said I think I had a meeting with Keen. We spoke.
No form of education needed for this.
Education is always needed. I am qualified.
Of course it's needed. But you have to study something so that you become an artist manager.
Yeah, there are courses out there for artist management, business, music business management and stuff. There's a lot out there. But I did not get the privilege to do that at that point. I am now upgrading and then doing the online courses for myself now, because I realize I only know so much from experience. But then there are some things that I wish I would know exactly what to do from a book background. So there is a lot of information around us. When you're not learning from people, when you're not learning from the environment in terms of what's happening, because we've also grown up looking at artists, knowing their stories and learning from the things that they do right as well as their mistakes. And then you can literally Google any topic, articles, tutorials, whatever will come up. So I never stop learning. Only last year, I also did life coach certification program. We did that together with Nutty. So I'm also a certified life coach now. We pray so much for growth. We pray so much for success. And then when it comes, for me, when Nutty blew out, when we grew, we had prayed for it. We had spoken it from back as 2018. And then around 2022, it became a reality. It was an overwhelming experience for me, because it was every week. You think you've gone through something hard and difficult tasks and all, and then the next week it's a switch up. When you think, okay, I've figured it out, then the next week is a switch up. The next week is a switch up. It's overwhelming and stuff. So you also need to learn to manage things at that level, as well as carry your daily tasks.
Okay. So I'm glad that you mentioned about your daily tasks. I want to know your daily routine. I want to know what time do you wake up? What do you do? What do you spend your day doing?
First of all, my sleep pattern is as random as possible.
Okay.
Like sometimes I'm sleeping from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. or something like that. But generally, I wake up, get onto my social media, check on what's happening, what. With that, with showbiz as well. Sometimes you're scared that you may wake up trending, and sometimes you actually wake up and you're trending about something that you went to sleep without
thinking.
Yeah, so you check your socials and what. By that time, the kids are also waking up. We do our school run routine. They go to school. I stay at home. I mostly work from home, and then I get on my 8 to 5. Like I put in 8 hours every day of work. This is when I do my digital marketing portfolio. Then I'm doing my content creation. I'm posting on behalf of the organizations as well. I treat them as my clients. So I'm also doing whatever that client needs and attending to meetings. Because much as we want to have a flexible timetable, the world is waking up and going to work. The business hours are regularly 8 to 5. So you still have to sort of conform. If you're working with the businesses, then you're doing the communication, etc. Then if we do have a show at any point, I'm also present for that show in terms of performances for any of the artists. If we have shoots, I'm also present for those. But then those things don't normally happen like every other time. Sometimes you also have to do camps, like production camps. Sometimes you have to be at the studio for this project or another, etc. It's a lot of things, but I make sure that my 8 hours of work I put in. Even the children now know that when it's time for work, Mama is working. And then when I say I've stopped working, then they're on to me. We do homework.
How old are they?
My firstborn is now 14 and the secondborn is 9. I also have my son, who's not biologically my child. She's my sister. He is my sister's son, but I live with him. So that's 3 children, who's 4. So I'm like, the stages of the children in the house.
And you have a teenage.
Yep, that's something else. At least she's very calm, and she's at that stage where she's questioning me about a lot of things, checking me. But then also she's such a child as well. Sometimes she just wants a hug. Sometimes she just wants to sit on my lap or sit next to me, and so it's fascinating to watch the children grow and do what they do and all that.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned something about shoots. I hear you're a photographer. Can you tell us about that side of you?
So that I started photography in 2015 out of it was just a passion that I had. So I bought myself a camera and started learning. I actually did, I think it was Udemy or something online. I did the course by myself. Went through the webinars, the tutorials, and the tests and everything, and I passed. So I could understand the theory, and then the rest of it is literally just learning and practicing. When I came to Zimbabwe as well, the first thing that I did is reach out to photographers. So I went and I got attached to OC Media. There's Austin Macheka there and Trevor group of Trey Images. I've worked with these guys now for, when I went that time, I was asking them to train me.
Okay, to train you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we ended up swapping services because I'm good with, my strength is with digital marketing. Okay. So I would do that for the business whilst I was learning.
Oh, interesting. A win is a win.
Yeah, as we were learning. So mostly personally, I like to do social photography so that I'm not overwhelmed with gigs and work those. So I'm just taking photos of what I want when I want. But also, I team up with Trey Images a lot. This year, I've done much more work with them. So we get corporate gigs, personal, individual shoots. Just now, we're coming from a Lobola ceremony where someone was Kubisa and we were shooting that.
Oh, you're shooting that.
So, yeah, so it's a win-win for us because we get to a lot of access to different people who are potential clients as well as friends, and
you're exposed to the world.
Yeah, so music gives me that exposure. photography also gives me that exposure, but also allowing myself to be in the background and just working and learning a lot of things, meeting new people, meeting people from different circles, and it's so much fun, and I use it to relax and just do something that is less pressure. Unlike when you have to go and face a whole crowd with a performance, and you're also sometimes very nervous. Are we, are we okay? Are we going to do this well? Is everything going to turn out as planned? It's something that you're in control of. So you go there, you do what you're expected to do. You capture the moments for the people. I think that's the most beautiful part, because
that's the beauty of photography.
It's service at the end of the day. Somebody wants to remember how it was, how it felt when they got married, or the baby was 1 month old, or it was a corporate event or whatever. So we are right there contributing to Zimbabwe in that way.
So I hear that besides working as an artist manager, you're also a co-founder of the Pushama Works. What exactly is Pushama Works?
So Pushama Works was when we were working with the artists, we got to understand a lot of the challenges that people in the industry would face. Would also I still get a lot of people coming to me and saying, could you please help me with my Pushama Works song?
Oh, that's Pushama Works.
So
help me.
Okay. So it's a lot of people were asking you this, and then we figured.
So does it also take place with businesses? Let's say I have my own business and I want you to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more like marketing.
Yes. So I'm a digital marketing consultant. I'm a talent manager. I also do photography, sometimes graphic design, though I've grown out of that one actively, but I still do when I need to do. So it's one thing. It leads towards marketing strategy and also implementation of, I think, running campaigns, marketing campaigns and stuff. So it doesn't matter which client is coming my way. I treat them the same way. So what we said then with my partner then was, let's do a workshop so that we can serve different people at the same time. So what we did, we structured it like it was a month of pre-campaign. You come, you register. We actually start working with you on your project. So that time we got to work with so many artists. I remember there was Victor Kunonga, Alexio. At some point, was Changa Wekwasando part of the? I'm not sure if he was part of the.
You worked with a lot of people, so
they were there, and we also invited different people. I remember that event there was people like Bimbai Zimuto, Lorraine Guyo. She was much younger then, starting out. Master Caroline was an artist as well. We had actors as well. We had different people who came out for that project. So what we did is, when somebody registered, we would ask for them to allow us to walk them through a project that they were currently working with on that time. So that was us giving back to the community and helping the artists address the issues, because they're all the same kind of problems. But what we did with the workshop was, we were not lecturing. We were giving access to each other, so that a Lorraine Guyo was starting out then could also speak to a Tembalami who was like 10 plus years. And then they also have Victor Kunonga, who's been in the industry for maybe 20 years and stuff. So they were sharing, other guys were sharing from experience, and other guys were sharing from needing to know how things are done. So that was the plan. We only managed to do one. It was a very successful workshop that time in 2019. We needed obviously to do the next one, but then the COVID and the lockdowns came on. So we sort of parked that on the side, but I still help a lot of artists on a consultant basis. I also have other artists that I work with, but not on a very, very official, I'm your manager kind of thing. Okay. I assist with strategy here and there. The list is big. There's people like John Cole, Derek Mpofu, And then because as you grow, you're also in circles, so to speak. With Nutty, we record at DJ Tamuka and Excuse studio, the Mushroom Media. So we also kind of work together there as a team. So I'm also sometimes on that project with those guys and etc. But not only that, the advantage is I'm literally surrounded by a lot of help in any way. I can pick up the phone and say, excuse, I'm facing this kind of problem.
That's the advantage of you. That's your advantage.
Yeah, because he's been in the industry, he knows what. So I ask for advice every now and then. I can speak to any other manager as well, from the Chidom Sasiwas of Amara, Brown, Banda from Winky's team, even Jab Fraser's, Keen. Everybody, you just reach out and say, okay, I'm going through this. Could you please assist?
So can we say you work in a male-dominated industry? Can you say that?
Yeah, everybody says.
Yeah, I also thought it is.
Everybody says that, but I don't really, for the most part.
So for you, it's not a bad experience?
No, my teams, but the people that I work with, they're very respectful. I've never had to feel like I'm out of place or what I'm doing is not acknowledged because I'm female. When we are going to work, we are going to work. But if what I'm contributing makes sense, there's no need for anybody to then say you're a woman. Then, so it is sometimes it does feel very male dominated on a physical level where you can walk into a room and you're the only woman. That is a bit uncomfortable, but otherwise it's work for me. And I'm working with amazing individuals who value my contribution and my position in their lives. And so...
So what advice would you give to someone who's who's starting to become an artist and they don't have a manager and they just don't know what they're going to do, like their next step, how they're going to move their things? What advice would you give to them?
My advice is the basic: learn whatever it is that you're trying to do now. Someone else has done it before, and the beauty of it, of living in today, is there is a record of almost everything, even the nonsense stuff. I mean, it's all over on the internet. Google is your friend. Like you can literally Google what is the role of an artist, what is the role of a manager. So you have an idea. And then when you have the idea of what is required, then you will be able to look for the right person to do the right thing. Sometimes we actually have, most artists have somebody, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues. There is always somebody around you who's literally interested and is naturally passionate about your work and your brand.
Very supportive.
Yes. So sometimes it's going to that person and skilling them up or conscientizing them. So you're already doing this for me. How about we do it professionally? And then together, you actually work towards upping your skills, your knowledge. And then you learn from around you, and then you apply whatever it is that you're learning. There is no right, there is no wrong. Everybody will tell you each artist has got a different journey. So figure out your own place and your own journey in the whole environment. Stick to it and you go. Because no one will come and say, this is what you need to do and give you all the solutions and all the answers. Even up to now, we are still trying to figure out a lot of things with a big brand, with a brand as big as Nutty, because the bigger you grow, the bigger the responsibilities, the bigger the task. And people will come to you and tell you that sometimes when you get to a certain stage, then you need new people to handle it for you because some old people can't handle it. But that's to me, that's nonsense. Yes, you do. Together. Yes, you may need new people, but find ways of joining the new people with the old people so that the story is complete. Because if you cut it off, it's like raising a child and then saying, I'm a grade 7. I could need another mother, another father. Like that doesn't even make sense. So what you do is you change the school that they're going to from primary school to secondary school. But the child remains the same child, remains with the same parents. And then you adapt to the next. The teachers are new as well on the new stage. So the same thing. So if you now need somebody who does something differently or maybe in a different space in terms of growth and everything, you bring them to that team that you have already. Find ways of incorporating and working together. So it's a growth, it's a story, it's a journey. You don't delete and start over, because when you do that, it means you're no longer grounded. You no longer have somewhere to stand on. So are there any new projects or any new what can I call them, projects that you are working on that we are looking forward in the future? Yep. that's always and the hardest
You're
thing.
Always working on new projects. And
the hardest thing is sometimes keeping the secrets.
But
we
I think let me just try and bring you closer so that you can tell me, because we need to know.
Because artists are always making music. Know that. So there's always music coming out. With Vanel, there's an album coming out. It's called Pop Star, if I can mention that, because he's a pop star. With Eddie Terry from Nigeria, there in Abuja's finest. There's an EP album also coming out later on this year, and it's called it's an Afro South project, where he is coming in with the Afrobeats from Nigeria and collaborating with a number of artists from here in Zimbabwe. And it's gonna be fire as well.
We are surely looking forward to it.
And then obviously with Nutty, another project is due. We will be putting out new music definitely later on this year, if everything goes according to plan, or early next year. But whichever way, new music is coming out. There's already the Bob Marley.
I heard it with Winky D, is it?
Yes. So they were doing a tribute album for Bob Marley called this Africa Unites. And they decided to get artists from around Africa, like the Afrobeats, particularly Afrobeats artists from Africa, the biggest. So this is Nutty DJ Tamuka on the record, on the production.
I'm really excited.
And Winky D from Zimbabwe on that album. And then we've got the Remas, Patoranki.
Oh my God.
Tiwa Savage, Oxlade, Tenny, etc.
Wow.
on that project. So that is so exciting, because we are... everybody's always talking about going international and stuff.
So when are we expecting this?
So this project is coming out on the 4th of August. The campaign is already up. People are already pre-ordering the album and etc. And we are honored to be part of the project. And there's a big shout out to Tapone Somavunga. This is another amazing woman from Zimbabwe. She's head of Sony Africa, based in the UK there. And she's the one who then brought the Zimbabwe team onto the projects as well. So
this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for spending your time. Thank you so much for joining me in particular and the crew behind the scenes. Well, this has been wonderful. You have heard it from Diana Elisha Nheera. Thank you for joining us. Keep watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's sponsored by Afrotopia Cafe and CG Consultancy.
I sing praises with the Ike. Maka, no no ka, Maka no no ka, Maka, no no ka, Anchabatika Maka, no no ka, Pomera Maka. Amana Maka, Onegosa Chica Maka, no no ka, Maka no no ka, no no ka, Uya Chabatika Maka, no no ka, Omera Maka, Lumenga Maka. Onaita shika pa top elevation. Check kata graduator, top man delegation. Got sabangena, pants kwem tunes well lang. Down on my knees, pray for my G's. I want the keys so we all make money. Extension daddy, Tamuka my G. Time to step, got the money calling. Oh my G, I'm glowing. Tell my haters I'm sorry. Shaka wanda she reloading. It's a daunting. Pack that cushion down the low key. Time to celebrate our glory. I'm floating, we rolling, easy going. Na baba godi, Maka, no no ga, Maka no no ga, Maka.